Every good coach has a coach, and if I'm being honest, I probably have five or six right now, which might say something about me, but that's actually how I met today's guest, Caleb Nelson. He's a business coach, the founder of Naked Sunday Studios, and the host of Naked Sunday podcast. But what makes Caleb different, you ask? It isn't just that he helps people grow their business, it's that he understands the psychology behind why we grow or why we stay stuck. I was recently a guest on his podcast, and he asked questions that weren't just strategic, they were psychological. Questions about identity, about belief, about who you are, when everyone or everything is stripped away. Because the truth is, business growth is rarely just about tactics, it's about mindset, it's about healing, it's about survival patterns, it's about the stories we tell ourselves. And Caleb has lived through some significant personal transformations that shaped the way he now coaches others. So today we're flipping the mic. We're not just talking about what Caleb does, we're talking about who he had to become to do it.
No more burnout, no more fear. We'll build it strong, make it clear. Not just a grind, but a dream that's true. Building a business that works for you.
Caleb, welcome to the show.
Thank you very, very much for having me today. I've been very excited since we've become friends recently. Obviously, we've had a couple conversations, but
Yeah,
even more happy to hang out here today and share and just share some time with you.
that sounds great. Okay, like I always say, let's dive right in. Your journey hasn't been typical. It was from health and then fitness to performance coaching and podcasting. What was that pivotal moment that shifted your focus toward that holistic life transformation?
Well, I came back from my honeymoon. I was about 40 pounds overweight, which is a pretty bad look when you own a health and wellness.
Didn't go over well, I'm sure.
Didn't go over well. And if I was being honest with myself at that point in my life, I was checked out from my business. I felt trapped by this thing that I thought I wanted, and I built it, and it was this big, beautiful thing, but I felt like I was just shining the surface. I was not doing the deeper work that I felt like I was meant to do. So I was stuck. I felt like I was boxed in to this one thing, but I knew I wanted to go this other direction. And, and all the poor lifestyle choices I was making along the way to numb myself from that reality was building up, and my body was now the symbol. Anyway, here I came from my honeymoon, and my wife goes to me one day. I heard Christina Aguilera and her husband do this thing called Naked Sunday. And as a newly married man, I was very motivated to join in on this concept. So needless to say, my motives were not super altruistic, as what one might think. And I'm really glad I did. Of course, the day shows up, and my wife says how my belly hurts and this and that. And a man committed to the cause, I'm like, I'm going through with it anyway.
Right?
And so I literally stripped down, butt naked, sat on my couch. I promised there was something covering me between the couch. Our couches are clean. They're all good. They've been dry cleaned or whatever it's called, like deep cleaned many times. But anyway, there I was. And I faced the music. I had to look in the mirror and realize, oh, I don't like who I am or what I'm seeing or the external manifestation of all the things that I've done. And I say manifestation, not in like, the woo-woo style of manifestation. I'm just going to think and it's going to happen. More of the beliefs that I was living upon. I built a lifestyle and built a business ultimately around what I valued myself as. And while I had learned all the tactics of health and wellness and all the other things, I started to learn along the way from my clients that it was people didn't come to me because their weight was for their coming back from injury or whatever it was. It was all these other lifestyle factors. It was the stress of their business, of their career. It was
Yeah.
the stress of their home life. It was the friction in their marriage. It was the juggling all of life's responsibilities and often losing sight of their purpose along the way. So it was never one single thing. It was how do we peel back all the things? What is what is underneath all of that? What's at the root of all of these things? And it was never just, it wasn't, oh, eat more chicken, eat more broccoli, and walk more. Sure, those are the things we need to do. Much like in business, we need
Right.
to sell people and, write up contracts and prospect and market and blah, blah, blah. Well, what are the things underneath that are driving us and motivating us and 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 all the things that are impacting? And that fated me on this different journey of self-exploration and going deeper into the roots of, well, why did I end up this way? And
Wow.
I'd explore my childhood, and I grew up in a cult, and where do those beliefs kind of transpire into my business career and into all my aspirations? How did it
Yeah.
affect my marriage? Everything. So that was the big turning point for me in having this more deeply holistic approach to all things, not just business, not just health, not just relationships, all things. How do we live a well integrated life that happens to include what I would call a purpose driven business, something that is an expression truly of ourself and aligned with what we were put on this planet to do?
Absolutely. That's what makes us all happy. And that's when we go home at the end of the day and we are absolutely dead tired and our minds are wiped out, but yet we still feel pretty good about it. Yeah.
That's it. That's exactly it. Like it's not, I've never found burnout to be an actual work problem. People enjoy working hard if it's in the direction of something that's
Yeah.
meaningful. It's about
Yeah.
figuring out what that is first. So yeah, a beautiful way of you saying that there. It's something worth highlighting.
Good point. Look better naked inside and out philosophy. How did you develop that philosophy and what does that mean to you kind of personally?
Yeah, so there's a book called Psycho-Cybernetics, and it was the first time I was exposed to what we'll call the internal image. And it was written by a plastic surgeon.
Hmm.
And this guy, think of plastic surgery. It is snap your fingers, relatively immediate change.
Yeah.
Barring the healing of from surgery at all, pretty immediate.
Yeah.
And what he noticed time and again, was if they didn't change how they actually saw themselves, no matter how beautiful that transformation was, how even no matter how immediate it was, they still just saw looking back at them in the mirror, and they
Wow.
would create patterns to go ahead and destroy themselves. And no matter how much more
Wow.
plastic surgery or whatever they would do, it was still the same thing coming back. So it was highlighting, you can shift and change the outside as much as you want. It won't change if it won't stick if you don't adjust what's going on internally. And
Wow.
yes, that transpired within the physical realm, but business or marriage or physical health, they have no difference. It's all the same thing. It's rooted in your self-concept, in your identity. And if we don't learn to love that, which seems so woo-woo and it seems so mushy in terms of business,
Yeah.
it is what infuses a lot of what drives us. Why, if we operate from this self-hate and self-loathing, we're going to continue to seek validation through things that are not true to who we are, or at least it's true to the thing that we see ourselves at. And
Yeah. Now, how do you unveil that? We do those things subconsciously half the time. We don't hear ourselves telling ourselves these things, whatever they may be. How do we unveil that, and validate what ours are, or do we have some in the first place, that is doing that? How do we go about doing that?
some people like the answer, and let me change
Well, I thought it might
that.
because it might make them vulnerable, and feel uncomfortable.
That's it. That's it. It's slowing down and sitting still long enough to hear the truth. It's
Okay.
looking in the mirror. It is always that. And that naked Sunday was a mirror. I'm sitting there looking at my body, and I I didn't even realize until I really slowed down. Wow, how I speak to myself is horrendous. I am
Mm.
just nasty to myself. And in that silence, in that solitude, I reflected on all the other times in my life. This is giving you perspective here. Like I've done steroids, been a high performing athlete. I've been a lot of different things. I've strapped a lot of titles onto my name. I've dated the pretty girl. I've had all this stuff. And no matter what, when I looked back in those moments, I was like, I was still talking to myself the same way. And in all of those moments, I was still not happy. It didn't matter what I had achieved, what trophy I was holding. It's the classic, I'm standing on the podium and I hate my life. Yeah, that's what it was. And it was in my own pursuit of my own version of what I'd call the American dream, my version.
Yeah.
And I realized I've done so many cycles of this already that I can't keep going like this. And at that time in my life, especially, I was driven by something different. I knew I wanted to become a father. And because naturally, after you get married,
Well, yeah.
you gotta have kids, right?
Family.
And what scared me so much about how I was speaking, and not only that, and speaking to myself, but more how I was living in my lifestyle, how I was treating myself, what I was modeling as a leader. I was like, I'm unfit, pun intended, to be a leader, to be a role model for any child coming into my life. And I took that to heart. And not only that, I was already ashamed of the fact that, wow, my clients don't even, I'm not worthy of leading my clients at this time. I need to own this. I need to take ownership of that. And it was just swallowing a pill, like the truth pill of love. And
Yeah.
instead of this time, like, hey, you have worth. And what really shifted for me in that moment, I looked at my wife off in the distance and for whatever reason, it zoomed me out of myself. And I was like, well, she loves me. And she's seen me in all these, she's seen me with all the different stuff in all different forms.
Hmm.
She still loves me. So it's not the money in my account. It's not the six pack abs. It's not the stuff. Huh.
Right.
I must have some inherent value aside from the external. And in that exploration of what that was, I started to see my own self, my true self within that. And I saw something that was worth building upon. I saw a foundation that was actually meaningful. It didn't feel hollow. It felt strong and capable. And most importantly, because I was like, I could fail myself, but man, if I failed my child,
Yeah.
oof, I would really not be okay with that. And it was just finding the right motivations, of course, but
Always helps.
it does help. But
Yes.
just as importantly, like I have this gift of life. I have these gifts where I've, for some reason, people listen to what I have to say. For some reason, I can have some influence. I can have some meaningful impact. I've helped a lot of people. Am I squandering these gifts because of the way I am currently unwilling to address this internal dialogue? And that was
Mm.
really hard
Wow.
to embody. Like love from my wife allowing me to explore those things, that was a real gift. That was a real gift. And that's how I started to make some of those changes.
That's wonderful. Mind shift. We all know that that's a key factor. How do you help people connect that physical health, mental health, and that purpose in a sustainable way?
Yeah. So a lot of it is looking at your calendar. Most people, your calendar is also a mirror. It's telling you who, what, where, why, how. It's
Okay.
showing you what you currently value most. It's showing you how you value your time. It's showing you how you're protecting your energy if you are. And that's the first place where it's going to show up. And you just have to address it. And
So if
what
it's like if you believe in your mind family first or wife first, husband first, but yet your calendar doesn't show it, then you need to make those shifts there. Okay.
you can't unsee it. Once you see it, it's sitting there in front of you. If you want to look at it, staring you in the face. And well, that's where it's worth looking at your burnout symptoms when you're feeling tired, drained, exhausted, like you haven't slept, like you're just not like you're not yourself.
Yeah.
We look at that as demonizing and I need to work harder and it's saying, "Oh, I need to do more stuff. I need to just do all the things." And the reality is, you're just listening to somebody else's version of what they think is right and wrong right now. And I say this in the way that if your goal, it's right here, gorgeous, as I'm talking about, what's most important. I have my little beautiful girl sitting right next to me. Would you like to sit here? You have Mickey. Yeah, it's right here, beautiful. If your thing that you want is to the right, but you're going 1,000 miles an hour to the
Yeah.
left, I don't care how hard you're working. You're getting farther away from the thing you say you actually want. You're going the wrong way. And then you're surprised why you keep ending back up with less of the thing you actually want.
Yeah.
And most people drink, do drugs, spend more money, go on lavish vacations, rack up credit card debt, do all kinds of things to just do band-aid fixes to cover up the problems they've been making from being too tired, too strung out to just say like, let me downsize maybe some of my lifestyle. Let me stop doing all the extra stuff that is not actually the point of this. And when you realize if you go and actually address what actually matters, let's just say everybody says, "Oh, I'm doing it for my family." What does that mean?
Yeah. It can mean
I want
different
my
things to different people too. Yeah.
It can mean different things to different people. Well, I'm doing it for my family. Well, when you actually go get clear on what your family actually wants, go talk to your kid, go talk to your wife, go talk to your husband, whomever it is that you're working with, that
Yeah.
you're building a life with. Hey, what do you actually want or need from me? Why do you actually love me? And get to the root. You're going to realize the thing they actually want is so simple. It's actually not very hard. It's actually very close and easy for you to achieve. And this seems ridiculous when I
But
say it
not
on the show.
really.
It's not.
I hear clarity when you say to do this. Clarity.
It removes all the other things. So many people are doing crazy jobs and crazy things to make a bunch of extra money, to buy a bunch of things, to transactionally buy love from their significant others because they feel
Wow.
guilty of not spending time, that
True.
all of a sudden they've built themselves a really exhausting job that they hate with clients that they take on that they don't actually want
And their
because
spouse hates it just as much as they do
and
now.
their spouse hates it just as much because they weren't clear on what am I here for? Did you marry your spouse because all they care about is the 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 house with the American flag and the white picket fence and
Of course not. Right.
did you come together from love? And
Right.
then you realize when you really start, honey, what do you need, honey? You want mermaid or monsters? Honey, what do you want? You want mermaid or monsters? Daddy will put on monsters. Speaking of somebody, the best thing we can learn from children, they are hyper clear about what they want all the time. And they will continue to tell you until you get
They
it
get
through your thick skull. And clearly, she's been telling me for 5 minutes, Daddy, I want this thing. Give me thing. And
and
I'm
you
going to
gave her a mermaid and she wanted monsters.
Monsters Inc. the whole dang time. And I had to just listen to what she said she wanted. And imagine that my life would have been much simpler 10 minutes ago if I actually listened. Oops, that's not the thing she wanted every
So what do
single
you
time.
tell people that try to self-sabotage? We all do this. I'm so guilty of self-sabotage.
I say,
What do you tell people that try to do that?
I say, go home and talk to the people you actually love. Go home, tell them first, why do you love them? The reason that makes you cry. And I learned this from a friend of mine. He's a coach too. He works with a lot of athletes. He says your why makes you cry. When you go to the level of vulnerability of this is why I love you, and it's that one thing that singles them out as unique in this world to you and what draws you back to them.
Yeah.
Naturally, when you give somebody a gift that's really loving and unconditional, the first thing they want to do is reciprocate.
Yeah.
In return, they will give you an answer that you're like, that's what I brought to the table. That's why you love me. That's why I'm so special. And we live in a day and age where people think they're vulnerable. They're not really vulnerable. They're
Mm,
not really ourselves. And the reason why we self-sabotage is because we've forgotten who the hell we are. We think we are the job title. We think we are the job. Incorrect. You
yeah.
are you, and you are expressing yourself through the job. What our intrinsic value is, that we spin up a life trying to impress a bunch of people, usually in the back of our mind, mom, dad, ex-husband, ex-wife,
The teacher who told you you couldn't or weren't going to amount to anything, something.
all
Yeah.
of those people, they're
Yeah.
old voices in my head. It was screw you, ex-business partner, screw you, cult leaders, screw you, this, that, and the other thing. I realized I was just trying to give the big old F you to all the people that told me I couldn't my entire life.
Yeah.
I built this mausoleum of a massive, beautiful fitness space basically to say, I'm right, you're wrong, screw you. And you know what it bought me?
Nothing.
Mis-
Unhappiness,
Misery.
misery.
I had the stuff, but I was unhappy and I was unfulfilled. And until I could go back and look at this from a new lens through the love that my wife was actually why my wife loves me. She told me because I put her through the ringer before we got married. Said she is an absolute saint, by the way, everybody. I told her the reason she loves me because of I challenge her. It blew my mind. That's why she was with me. I love you because you challenge me to become the best version of myself.
We all need that.
We all need that. And that's why I say like she's a saint because this coaching thing doesn't turn off when I come home or when I come home. I coach from home. Do you want Mickey? What is it you want? Yes, beautiful. I'm gonna put on Mickey for you. Here you go.
Now you're saying yes, beautiful,
Someone says, "Oh
but your
my God,
face
I'm
is
gonna lose
saying
him."
something else.
Learning how to navigate all the feelings that he also embodies at the same time because
Yep, we all do it.
it's when you're juggling all the stuff that you're saying, I'm putting, what is it? You wanted Mickey? Mermaid. Here you go. Mickey's back on, beautiful. There you go.
Well, Kay, listening to you talk about this, it's obvious this isn't just theory for you. This is how you coach. For someone listening right now who's thinking this kind of clarity in my business or my life, what does working with you actually look like? How they get in touch with you?
Well, first and foremost, thank you everybody for bearing with my crying child. I don't know if it's
It's
on
not,
there.
I can't hear her crying
That's the beauty of
of
modern
Zoom,
technology
right?
where it cuts out all the extra noise is
Yeah.
magnificent. What I try is that working with me, and I think high level coaching, like call it Yoda level coaching, it feels like you're hanging with your best friend. It doesn't feel like coaching at all. It's from a practical lens, first we need to get your time back. Most people are devaluing themselves and taking on jobs and putting themselves in situations where they're driving their value down. Like a simple exercise to do is what is the value of your hour? And then most people look at the jobs they're taking on, but like, oh, the value of my hour is a lot lower than I thought it was. That's why I feel like garbage. Oh, and the hours that am making the least is with clients that I hate the most, that give me the most headaches, that want to pay the least, that want to give you, it's all
Nickel and
stuff.
dime me to come back and
Nickel and
come back.
dime
Yeah.
because no matter what you do, right? And if you can instead look at them through love and say, oh, this person is really just showing me a certain part of myself that is just me. This is a different part of my how I'm talking to myself in my life. Oh, that's the problem. I'm actually hearing that old version of me who doesn't want to let go, who doesn't think he or she is worth it, who doesn't think that I'm worthy of time, space, love,
Yeah.
unconditional love. Those are the things. So first it's about getting your time back and like seeing the map clearly. Because if I say this all the time, like you've never made a good decision in your life when you're just cranky and tired and coming off a bad night's sleep
Or pressure. No.
or pressured.
Yeah.
But yet most of us are doing that because we're not giving
All
our
the
right? We're not
time.
giving ourselves permission first to make the space. Hey, don't say yes to that job. Don't put that thing on your calendar at that time. Don't do that. It's counter what everybody told you. And also, it's counter what got you to this level of success in your life.
Mm,
That's the problem.
true.
The problems you're currently facing are ironically because you're successful enough. It's not because you're not successful.
Right.
But to go to the next level, you need to see the road clearly. And right now, you can't.
Oh,
So
definitely.
adjusting your approach to be where you're at now. They say it's what got you here ain't won't get it's what not what it's going to get you there. You need to reframe that. So it's a lot about giving people permission. Hey, slow down, take a breath, get a good night's sleep, go reconnect to the people that you really love. Because if you're being honest with yourself, the current business you have, if you look at this 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, could you do this for the rest of your life? And I ask that as a theoretical. If you had to work every single day for the rest of your life, could you continue to operate this way? And I bet anybody who's listening right now, the answer is no.
Yeah,
Like,
90% of them is going to be at least is going to be no.
hell no, I can't do this. Like,
Yeah.
this, I'm there.
Yeah.
You might be questioning your sanity. Why did I do this in the first place? And that's That's the reality because again, the old strategies, the old way you surviving, making it through, making money when you had to make more than zero.
Yeah.
Yes, that was then. That's not now. If you don't become more refined, if you don't become a better leader, if you don't know how to organize and manage all the other elements of your life. It's not about if you're a builder, it's not about my father-in-law, he sells siding. It's not about like could you sell the siding and show them the pretty,
Right.
uh, for fascia or whatever they call it, like or the windows or any of that stuff. Like you
Right.
can do all the put the nail in the thing and put the stuff. That's not the job. It's the customer service. It's the systems. It's the follow up. It's all that. But then it's also
Yeah.
how do you live at home? How are you taking care of yourself? How are you
Yeah.
making decisions? How are you forecasting for the future? If you don't actually readjust how you look at this and become a business owner, not a practitioner, not the doer, not the builder, the one who sees the project, who sees the bigger picture of
Yeah.
all. Go ahead.
So is that your first counseling step in somebody that feels like their business is failing, or maybe they're failing in wellness, business, and relationships all at once? Is that the first counseling step?
Yes, absolutely. Because if we don't clean up your calendar, nothing else matters. We have to clear that up first about building small habits of reinfusing you into your calendar, which sounds like esoteric and abstract and really fluffy. But it's like if you look
You,
at your calendar right now, do you show up on it?
it
Or
makes absolute sense. I've never had any coach tell me to start in my calendar. I have not, but it absolutely makes all the sense. That's what we're willing to live and do and business by this calendar. And that should tell us everything about ourselves. Okay, so what's your vision for your Naked Sunday studios over the next 5 years and your coaching business?
well, my actual vision statement of the business is freedom for all. And I say that because
Okay.
I see a world of people who are not inherently free. We think we are. We
Yeah.
think we own a business. We chase these things. We own our own things, but we don't actually own ourselves. And we don't even realize we're still pr imprisoned by the old beliefs that we have. And
Wow.
there's so many people who are worshiping these false idols outside of us, whether it's gurus, cult leaders, money, all that stuff. These are all external things. But if we are not connecting to who we are, if we're not fulfilled, and I have a philosophy of freedom is fulfillment, and fulfillment is freedom.
Yeah.
Because if you're not fulfilled in your life, if you, it's, I've witnessed people who have plenty of money and
Mhm.
have demolished marriages
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and they're miserable.
Yeah.
And everybody will say, it's better to be miserable in your Ferrari than all that stuff. Maybe,
No, not really.
maybe.
You can feel like you want to drive it right off of a cliff. How wonderful is that got you feeling, you know? I don't think so,
And
personally.
if you're imprisoned within yourself and you have nothing connected to yourself, all you are is just a hollow shell. What are we doing here? And that's where my goal with my coaching is to help somebody come back to themselves so they can actually serve in the way that I believe in divine, like divinely and created in the world. And that's not just in business. It's all the things that contribute to this
Yeah.
offering to the world. And
Yeah.
that is infused, and your family and your physical health are part of what amplify your gifts. They're not what takes away from your gifts. And most
Wow.
people are seeing it as the opposite. My daughter is teaching me more about business and love and compassion and boundaries and confidence than I've had anybody teach me on the 39 years I've been on this planet. It's
Wow.
taken her 2 years to just be like, Daddy, this is how life is done, without really saying a word, without saying a word. And I say
True.
that because if we can look at the people that say that are sharing our life with us as traps, not as prisons, but as the
Right.
people that are going to set us free, if we look at them through a lens of love, man,
Wow.
things we're going to do in this world together, especially with AI and all the other stuff that we think, that will be the gift that sets humanity free and Sure,
Wow.
happens to be in business, but
That's pretty deep. That's good stuff. So, Caleb, I was on your Sunday podcast. You guys will have to go out and listen to it. He popped three questions on me. Well, all of the questions were popped on me, but he popped three questions. Well, all might have been side questions. But anyway, he gave me some pretty questions. So, I got three for you as well. So, if you could write a letter to your younger version of yourself, but he could only read one sentence, what would that sentence?
love yourself.
Okay. Let
Love
me
your
ask you this then. This is just a follow-up on this one. What part of you still struggles with fully believing that sentence yourself? Any part of you?
yes, just like everybody else. When I'm feeling tired, when I'm feeling stressed, when I'm feeling lonely, I forget who I am and I compare
Oh,
myself to other people. And I say that because it doesn't go away. And the follow up to that is the gift I've had is having incredible people in my life
ooh,
be back to
that's good. That's good stuff. That's great. I mean, nobody wants somebody coaching them who's got it all figured out and they're doing everything perfect. They want somebody who's going through it with them, going through it and can help them go through it together. Okay, so if your podcast, your business, and your public identity disappeared tomorrow, what part of you would remain untouched? Oh, you went, I can't hear. Okay, there
I
we go.
gotta tell you, these are great questions. What
Okay.
part of my identity would remain untouched?
Yeah, because I mean, your podcast, your business, your public identity, you've got almost 5,000 followers. What part of you would remain untouched?
The part of me that would remain untouched, I believe my gift is my vision. And I say that because I wish everybody could see themselves through my eyes. And if they did, they would never have a bad day ever again.
Wow, that's cool. How do you see them through your eyes?
I only see their gifts. I only see what I think their true potential is. And and a great way for me to frame this is back when I was coaching fitness, that 300-pound person who would walk in the room who's like, I failed at all this and this and that. And a lot of other coaches would look at them like, roll their eyes, be like this. The first thing I would be like, that's my next testimonial. Like, if you just show up and we do this together, like it's only a matter of time. And now in my current line of work, the evolution of whatever it is once I start to hear people reconnect to what they actually love and they enjoy and how they want to show up in the world, it's like, well, let's just get rid of all the rest of it. That's all I'm listening to the entire time. They have a
Wow.
beautiful story and something really powerful. They're just trying to hold on to everything that is not them. And let's just let go of that. And that's all I see.
Wow.
I don't know why, but that's just all I see.
And that's probably not, they probably need you holding their hand every step of the way to let go of it too. Because just letting go of something, especially somebody that's been in business for a long time, all of a sudden go of a few things, it's probably going to take some steps and some strategic planning. Okay,
Well,
last question here. What's a strength people admire in you that might actually be rooted in something you had to survive?
you are bringing the fire right now.
Well,
Okay,
you know,
here's how to answer this. Most people, I've told this to people, I have struggled with confidence my entire life. And that most people are, when I've shared that, and it's only been recently that I started sharing that because I didn't realize it, most people are wildly surprised.
yeah.
And and the way I've had to clarify this, like I'm confident in my abilities. What I've struggled with is in knowing who I am my entire life. And the gift has been underneath that as I've just been able to be adaptable to just like I can serve and I can help the person in front of me and I will go figure that stuff out. And it's, I guess, fueled by a desire to love others and connect with the love in others. So I think that's what it is.
So at what point did that superpower, that survival mechanism become that superpower instead of something that instead of a defense strategy? When did you flip it for you?
Naked Sundays when that started.
Oh, cool.
I still struggle to this day though, because and again, I'm reminding anybody who's listening to this part, you will continue to struggle with it because we're human and we
Yeah.
have these things and life happens. And as they say, new levels, new devils.
Yeah.
Um, it was the first time I confronted the fact that I was trying to save everybody.
Ooh,
And instead I needed to stop trying to and operate from a place of wholeness, because I was out trying to save everybody. It was trying to prove that I was worthy, as opposed to I am worthy and I can serve and I can share my gifts. And it was that subtle shift that I continue to work on to this day. And
was there ever, go ahead, I'm sorry.
with that, it's kind of piggybacking on your previous statement, was my goal is not for people to need me. It's for them to, it's ironically to put myself out of a job. I want you to not need me. Like if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, I want you to not, like, you're not dependent on me to survive in your life, but to thrive.
That's
Like
good.
we're going to hold hands and go on this journey together as friends.
Wonderful. That's great. Okay, dear Caleb, I appreciate this conversation more than you know. I love talking business strategy, but what I love even more is talking about who we have to become in order to build something meaningful. And I think that's what today was really about. Not just tactics, not just coaching, but identity, survival, growth, rebuilding, and ownership. We're not just talking about what Caleb does, we're talking about who he had to become to do it. And if you're listening right now and something in this conversation hit you, whether it's mindset, identity, survival patterns, or the way you're currently showing up in your business, here's what I want to say to you. Take advantage of Caleb. Use him. Get into his business. And I've been in I've been in the service-based business for years. Our family's still building homes. Understand that pressure, the overhead, the unpredictability, responsibility. But I work in the business strategy space now as well, mastering that business side of building. And Caleb kind of gave me this idea too, helping service-based business contractors master that business side of building. So I want to do something similar to what he does. If you're listening and you want a non-judgmental, honest look at your business, I'm offering 2 free coaching sessions. We'll sit down, we'll take a clear look at where you are, and I'll give you 3 or 4 things you can implement right away. Not theory, not fluff, things you can plug into your current systems right away, from your lead management, maybe your ads that you're running, maybe your review process, building reviews, reaching out to clients. Maybe it's just, maybe your calendar is full of all these jobs to do, but you say leads are important. Maybe you don't even have a day dedicated to going and giving estimates. You're showing what's important. We're going to look at that. We're going to get you out there, get those leads managed, and something you can put together immediately. No pressure, just clarity. So if that sounds like something you need, the link is below the show notes. There's, time on our calendars, and let's look at it together. And as always, if you found value in this episode, please share it with someone who you think maybe could benefit also. And remember to like, subscribe, and rate the show. Until next time, remember, this is your platform, your voice matters, and the Builder's Edge is where we master the business side of building. Thank you for listening.